Hi, I'm Lewis from Olympus. Today, I'm going to discuss the proper loading of the TJF-Q180V Duodenoscope in the OER-Elite reprocessor. Before using the equipment, be sure to read and understand the details of the instruction manual. As always, please ensure proper protective equipment is worn while maintaining and operating the OER-Elite. Should you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact the Olympus Technical Assistance Center, otherwise known as TAC, in the event you need additional assistance.
Now, let's get started. First, fit the ring of the retaining rack onto the temperature sensor of the reprocessing basin. This ensures that it's seated properly inside of the OER-Elite basin. Now that the retaining rack is installed and the accessories are removed from the endoscope, let's begin the loading process. Scan the scope RFID tag over the OER-Elite RFID reader. Set the control section to the left of the index pin. This is located on the deepest part of the reprocessing basin. Then, we're going to wrap the insertion tube clockwise around the retaining rack from the outside of the retaining rack moving toward the inside. Make sure that the insertion tube's distal end is placed within the retaining rack. Once the insertion tube and the control body are successfully loaded, it's time to wrap the universal cord counterclockwise inside the retaining rack. Remember to start by wrapping it to the right side of the retaining rack pin. Place the universal cord under the hook of the retaining rack. With both the insertion tube and the universal cord loaded into the basin, it's time to place the endoscope connector inside of the OER-Elite. The scope connector gets placed directly on top of the drain port. This is a way to ensure the endoscope is loaded properly. Finally, make the necessary adjustments to minimize overlapping of the insertion tube and universal cord. Don't forget, certain Olympus endoscope models, for example, the ultrasonic probe and ultrasonic endoscope, may need to be loaded in a slightly different manner. The OER-Elite Quick Reference Guide will provide additional instructions. Now that the endoscope is loaded into the OER-Elite basin, it's time to place the accessories into the washing case. First, remove the washing case top and place the biopsy valve in the case, followed by the other accessories. Make sure to open the biopsy valve. Disassemble the accessories when warranted. Next, set the air-water channel cleaning adapters in the washing case. Ensure that the indicator tag is draped outside of the case. Finally, close the cover of the washing case so that the chains from the AW channel cleaning adapter are not caught in the washing case lid. Prior to connecting the MAJ2330 to the duodenoscope, we'll need to inspect it in order to ensure it is in good working order. Let's start by visually inspecting the connecting tube to ensure there are no cracks, breaks, debris, or irregularities. Now, move the lock lever of the connector to make sure that it functions properly and the lever is not broken. Then, visually inspect the pin on the connector. Make sure it's not cracked or broken. Finally, visually inspect the nozzle of the endoscope side connector to ensure that there are no bends or breaks. Now that we've inspected the MAJ2330, let's connect it to the duodenoscope. To begin, turn the elevator control lever, labeled U-Lev, on the endoscope's control body in a clockwise direction. Do this until the forceps elevator stops. Failure to do this prior to connecting the MAJ2330 connecting tube can result in insufficient elevator reprocessing. Next, raise the connecting lever of the MAJ2330. Insert the endoscope distal end by aligning the nozzle of the endoscope side connector into the instrument channel outlet of the endoscope. Then, lower the connecting lever to secure the distal end of the insertion tube. Next, confirm that the nozzle of the endoscope side connector is contacting the instrument channel outlet. If there is a clear gap between the nozzle and the instrument channel outlet, remove the connecting tube and retry. Otherwise, reprocessing of the forceps elevator may be insufficient. Then, set the distal end of the insertion tube in the reprocessing basin while the groove of the endoscope side connector is attached to the pin on the proximal side of the retaining rack of the reprocessing basin. The connector must be in contact with the pin on the retaining rack. Now, wrap the connecting tube outside of the pins of the retaining rack. Next, snap the reprocessor side connector straight into either of the orange connectors on the reprocessor. Make sure that both sides of the lock levers are securely engaged. The connection guide screen provides the information about the type of connecting tubes required for the endoscope. It will also let the user know the location of the connectors that these connecting tubes are connected to. Select the connecting tube according to the connection guide screen on the display. Matching color of the tube connector to color and number of the OER-Elite connector. If the connecting tube is connected to the wrong connector, then channel blockage monitoring and channel connectivity monitoring cannot work properly. It is important that none of the connecting tubes are kinked. Now, make sure to confirm that both the leak test has been performed with no leaks detected and that manual cleaning has taken place with this endoscope, as mandated in the scope's reprocessing instructions. If these required steps have not been performed, please refer to your endoscope's reprocessing instructions in order to complete the reprocessing steps necessary prior to the scope's entry into the OER-Elite. Once completed, press the OK button on this confirmation screen, followed by OK once again. Once you've confirmed the scope has been manually cleaned and leak tested, it's time to scan the user ID card. Just like when we scanned the scope's RFID in our reprocessing log video, we're going to scan the user ID card in the same manner. Simply hold the user ID card over the user ID reader section so that the OER-Elite can read the user information. The same can be done with the physician ID card. Then, set the stylus pen on the ring of the retaining rack. Inspect all the connecting tubes for kinks or irregularities. If any exist, reposition the connecting tube to remove kinks or irregularities which may cause improper reprocessing. Now, all that's left is to simply close the lid and check to ensure that the lid is not touching any portion of the endoscope. Press the Start button to begin the process.
Welcome back. This concludes the TJF-Q180V duodenoscope loading procedure in the OER-Elite. We hope you found the information helpful. As always, don't hesitate to contact our experienced TAC team in the event you need additional assistance. Thanks for watching.